I've been in a while. Yeah, this is me. I'm Bob Hinkle's son, Zach Hinkle. There you go. And I'm Director of Operations for both White Horse and the Blues Society. We'll get into a little bit about how that came to be as I give my spiel here. But I've been here for 2.5 years and it's been glorious. I wanted to talk about the White Horse Community Fund for a minute because I think that this is an important piece of understanding to get to the heart of the philanthropy of this endeavor. After the hurricane, White Horse Black Mountain became as much a community center as a listening room. And we started the White Horse Community Fund. The White Horse Community Fund is a pass-through to the four kind of first-level life-giving nonprofits that we saw directly after the storm having the most important impact to save lives. In that moment, we decided to kind of just throw our weight and all the money that we could behind those four nonprofits because we could see what a meaningful impact they were having, and we knew them intimately. We knew that they were efficient with their money, so we felt really good about giving to them. That's Solano Valley Christian Ministries. We gave more money to their fuel fund than any one person probably ever has. And we also were able to give them enough to help them fund the medical clinic. Bounty and Soul was instantly feeding people all over the valley. There you go, Bounty and Soul. Hammer and Heart went from like a small little kind of nonprofit where they were taking care of 7 or 8 homes per year to taking care of 7 to 8 homes per week, mitigating mold and water damage and keeping people in their homes. And the Black Mountain Counseling Center is mental health for all. So if you need support, you don't have insurance in your pocket or money in your pocket, you're going to go to them and you're going to say, give them your needs, and if they can help you, they're going to. So that's the White Horse Community Fund. And just in terms of the White Horse business framework, and again, this is really just to share, to give you the kind of the foundation, the soul of the philanthropy of this endeavor. So we are donate what you can, which means you're donating what you can at the door, you're donating what you can at the bar, and 60 cents on every dollar is that you donate. Well, first of all, we did that because right after the storm, there was a whole host of people lost their houses, lost their homes, deeply, the economic times were uncertain. We wanted to make sure there wasn't a barrier of entry for people to have this experience of community, so we became donate what you can. So if you give $1, 60 cents is going to the artist on stage, 40 cents is going to the White Horse Community Fund as a pass-through. That means that we exist as a financial model. We exist via our membership and donations. Right now we have 460 plus members, and that's essentially almost double. We're at 280-ish right before the storm, and we're 460-ish right now. And that level of ramp up is people seeing what we're doing for the community and wanting to support us, so that's felt really good. And to date, White Horse has successfully generated $250,000 for those 4 nonprofits. And that feels amazing. And that $600,000 number is based on commitments that have been made for end of year giving between now and the end of the year. We are hopefully going to make all of those be realized, and then we could have real and significant impact with those 4 nonprofits that continue to do such amazing work. So, Black Mountain Blues Festival. Before I get into the nuts and bolts of that, I want to talk a little bit about why it's important to have a blues festival here in Black Mountain, because there is foundation for that too. We are as much a community center as a listening room right now, but the bones of this business is music. The bones of this, the foundation of White Horse is the preservation of historical musical legacy. Say that 7 times fast, historical musical legacy, in the Swannanoa Valley. Interestingly, when you look at the demographics of the Swannanoa Valley, Swannanoa Valley used to be over 30% Black. Now Shenandoah Valley is 3% black. What does that mean for the historical legacy of that population? It means that it is almost non-existent because the people that carried the flames of that musical legacy aren't here anymore. Blues was a massive, massive part of the music of these mountains for a long time, and it's not something that's really recognized or thought about anymore. So when we started doing some research, what we found is Roseland Gardens. Roseland Gardens was a barn on the Chitlin Circuit. For those of you that need a little primer on that, the Chitlin Circuit was the segregations, times, way in which the black population would be able to listen to the same music that the white population was listening to. The band would play the white club, and then after they were done playing the white club, they'd go over to the Chitlin Circuit barn and they would perform for the black population. And so these barns were aside from church, they were the cultural place for the black population all across the South. But Roseland Gardens happens to be like a couple miles away from here. It's no more. It doesn't exist. Neither do most of the Chitlin Circuit barns exist anymore either. And so when we were looking at ourselves as Whitehorse and saying, what do we do to highlight the impending loss of this musical legacy, this historical legacy of the blues in this area? We thought to ourselves, one of the things that we could totally do is have a blues festival. And highlight these points as part of the blues festival, and also just bring some amazing blues into town so people recognize what the blues is and maybe become fans, maybe become appreciative and learn about the history, and all of a sudden you've lifted a rocket ship of blues and kind of takes off on its own. A great example would be the Blues Jam that's happening here at Whitehorse every other Wednesday. That's probably our busiest night right now because people are just really into it. And a lot of people that are coming didn't even know they were into it. They just came a couple times and they were told about the blues history in this area. They're like, really? And then they just show up every Wednesday. The first year of our festival, these are some of our light stats. Total attendance 1,400. That's not actually true. There was 1,400 tickets that were given out, but some of them were comps. So really, it was 1,150 attendees. 96% of attendees gave us highest marks on our survey. 100% of artists said that it felt to them like this was a 10-year festival, not a first-year festival, gave us highest marks across the board. This is the only blues festival in Western North Carolina. That's a great indication of how close this blues historical legacy is to demise, because we're the only one. And so we are dedicated to preserving that legacy here in the Valley. What's new in 2025? Listen, a lot of that stuff on that screen from the customers and the artists, they were over the moon. There were some lessons learned from last year, and we will completely own up to that, fall directly on our sword. Should we have had a vendor village last year? No, we should not have. That was a mistake. Should we have closed streets last year? Nope, shouldn't have done that either, and so we're not gonna. No vendor village, there's no closing of streets, and we have venues kind of scattered all over town with really encouraging walking between the venues, and the hopes with that walking is that that folks will stop off at shops. They'll stop off at Peter's Hardware Store and check out the cool Black Mountain stuff. And they'll stop off at Foothills and have a burger. And by the way, Foothills Grange, my man Chris, he's coordinating the hospitality plan at the very end, so he'll come up and talk a little bit about that. And My Carolina Mountain Life, and you can't forget about Judy. Judy is a mover and a shaker. What would we do without her? And she is a force in co-promotion on this festival. And this is our board, the Black Mountain Blues Society. Why do we have Black Mountain Blues Society, and why is Whitehorse not doing it? A couple of reasons. First is, this is not a small endeavor. Running a festival, or even planning a festival like this, you lose a year of your life. So you need a dedicated group of humans who are just doing that and not also the white horse stuff. Not to say that the board doesn't have other jobs, believe me, they do. But White Horse being able to stay focused on the White Horse thing, I mean, we put an event on here 7 days a week, and having a board being completely focused on the Blues Festival is vital. Also, the only way that you can be a part of the International Blues Society is if you have a 501c3 that is specific to the blues, can't do anything else. And that once you become a member of the International Blues Society, you can run regional competitions where the winner of the competition goes to the Blues Society finals in Memphis in January. And if we had done this 3 years ago, we would have already had 2 winners from Black Mountain, and that's a very cool promo just for the entire town. In the same way, I mean, it's not the same impact, but you know, Dasher is like very talented, but also very popular because he was on, was it The Voice or American Idol? American Idol. And so, you know, the idea is that we can get a couple winners at the international festival level, or international competition level, to like plant that Black Mountain Blues Society flag. That's going to be good for the town as a whole. Wait, let's go back. In the house today, you will see Heather. Heather is our board membership director. Raise your hand, Heather, so people can see you. You'll see Allison. Allison, where you at? Oh, she's in the back. She's changing the slides for me. Thank you, Allison. You see Mary Ellen. Everyone knows Mary Ellen. Where you at, Mary Ellen? That's right. Where's Paige? Paige. Where's Laura? Hi, Laura. Whole board's here. The person that's not here is Justice Rogers. Justice is with us in spirit. He sends his best. But he is deeply embedded in the Swannanoa Valley and very tied to the blues, and we're very, very proud to have his leadership as the chair of the board. So one of the things that's in play right now is we are partnering with the town for the use of Town Square. This would be a very original use of Town Square for an event like this, but it plays directly into the way in which Town Square was used on a daily basis every day at 3:30 post-hurricane. Everyone showed up at Town Square and heard about the recent news and went like, when it was like the water news, but they would all lean into each other and take care of each other. And it was a really special way in which the town came together. We proposed to the town that that Town Square will be used for children's and family programming on Saturday. That would be non-ticketed, so fully accessible to all. And then on Sunday, we've proposed to them that we have a celebration of resiliency where there's a stage and sound, and the town can take total and complete lead on the programming of who speaks and what the message is. We're just going to be the stage managers, and we're going to provide music. And that too will be fully accessible and non-ticketed. So that's the way in which we're trying to bridge the accessibility of White Horse, and recognizing that not everyone in this neck of the woods is going to be able to afford a $120 ticket for a 3-day music festival, and give options to participate outside of the ticketed function. There will also be locations around town, Black Mountain Center for the Arts being one of them, where educational programming will take place that will be non-ticketed. So for the community, and there'll be a couple other kind of venues scattered around where blues will be happening. And you won't have to have a wristband to walk in and participate. These are our artists. Oh, I didn't call this up. I got stuff to say about these people, but I didn't call it up. Stand by, stand by. So, up until very recently, I was going to be talking up some of our undercard here because we just locked in we just recently locked in our headliners, which is why, you know, some people out there are asking me about, like, well, wait a minute, yeah, this sounds great, but who's going to play the thing? And we were holding off on announcing any of our musicians until we locked in our headliners, and then of course we locked in 2, really 3, but 2 are of vital importance. So the first one. I'm going to talk about, oh boy, see, Judy's looking at me and she's saying, Zach, I had this queued up for you and I could have just printed it out, and there you are fumbling with your phone and stalling for time. Yep, that's me. Okay, so Robert Randolph. Robert Randolph is a mainstay on the blues festival world. This is a guy who plays festivals 20,000, 30,000, 60,000 people. He is always one of the headliners. He has had 6 Grammy nominations, and he is on the Rolling Stone list of the 100 greatest guitar players of all time, alive or dead. He's got a BMI award. He's got 13 Emmy Awards for music composition. Mainly, though, the guy makes you want to stand up and just dance your face off. And that's what people say who have seen him live, that he is just outstanding. So then we got Nick West. Nick West was the bass player for Prince up until he passed. Nick has developed a truly fierce presence in the blues and festival world. Rolling Stone says she's the bass icon player of this generation, and the queen of the bassists. When Quincy Jones would go into the studio over the last 20 years, she was the person that he would ask for on bass. She is, when you see her play, I mean, I have been up close because of my dad to Tina Turner, and she's got that Tina Turner energy, and it's gonna be unbelievable. That's right. And then Eric Gales. Eric Gales has nominations for Best Rock Instrumental Performance for the Grammys, Best Rock Gospel Album, Best Contemporary Blues Album. He is critically acclaimed, but he also is going to be debuting his acoustic set for the first time at this festival. So it's something that nobody else has seen before. And so we think that Eric Gales fans will be really excited to come and see that for the first time. So this is a very legitimate festival lineup. I've shown this to a number of kind of the large venue groups that put on large shows in Charlotte, and to agents that I know, and they're over the moon for this. So we hope that when we announce it, the customers will feel the same. You guys know what this is, right? You're from here, but this is just our way of showing that the festival's nice and spread out. So there's a lot of walking. This is the list of groups that are participating. We've got, of course, Whitehorse, Foothills Range, the Cherry Pit. I love it. I love the name, the Cherry Pit. That's a little grassy area, and we were walking down Cherry Street, and we got that long fence, and you look down, there's that grass. That's the Cherry Pit. Why do you call it the Cherry Pit? Chris and I looked at each other at the meeting, and he was like, well, now I recognize it's because it's below Cherry Street, but before then I just thought maybe there used to be cherry trees there or something. Old Town District, Black Mountain Center for the Arts, Perry Social House, Town Square, the station, Bush Farmhouse. We're spreading the love. We're hoping that the business also comes to all of the businesses in town because we're spreading things out like this. We're really eager to partner with businesses in any way that they have an idea on how to do that. And maybe the next slide. Nope. This is a quote from Justice that I love to read. Much like the blues music that's deeply woven into North Carolina roots, we found our strength and harmony in the heart of our community after Hurricane Helene. We're all in the same soup line, but it's that shared spirit, the us, that helped us rise, rebuilding not just homes, but our very best selves. I love that quote. And Justice Rogers has got the name of a superhero. Justice Rogers. Come on, man, that's not your real name. Come on. Thank you to our current sponsors. This is our sponsor list to this point. Thank you to Sherry. Where are you at, Sherry? Sherry is a mover and shaker in the sponsor world for us, and Judy has been crushing it with sponsors recently, so we thank the both of them. And if you are an owner of a business, or you have a cousin or a friend that's an owner of a business, and you think to yourself, man, this is a pretty cool list to be added to, like, talk to Judy, talk to Sherry. And these are our community partners. These are people that are donating gifts in kind, that are venues for the festival, and yeah. And now, like, if you are a business and you're thinking to yourself, I would love to support, I'd love to figure out a creative way to do so. Of course, in this day and age right now, there's a lot of economic uncertainty, and everybody got hurt by this storm. And so finding sponsorships has been tough. So if a business is not in a position to execute a cash sponsorship, there's other ways that we can work together to both promote the festival, to give something that the festival needs, and also promote your brand or your business. Create a blues-themed special. If you have a restaurant, signature dish, a drink, a deal, a selfie station, a festival survival kit. You got to ask Judy what that is, because I don't know. A festival discount. We've got a whole bunch of businesses that said that they'd be very interested in giving 5 or 10% off if someone walks in with a festival ticket band on. Early bird discounts. Help spread the word. This is really key. There's so much noise on this weekend. There's so much noise. And we need to fight through that noise by making sure that people hear about us as the coolest festival of all time, but also hear about the non-ticketed aspects of it, and also hear about our give back, which, of course, I didn't say on the slide from before, but 50% of net proceeds are going to nonprofits that continue to support hurricane relief. So the more we can get the word out about that, and the more we can bring sponsors on so that there's more money in the pie at the end to give to those nonprofits, that's an important piece of what we're doing. And I guess that's it. Except for I want to get Chris up here to talk about the hospitality plan, but thank you very much for listening to me as a talking head for the last 12 minutes.
Thank you. Can we give Zach a bigger round of applause? Come on, he deserves it. All right, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Christopher. I'm the Director of Operations for all that is Foothills, and I've agreed to be the hospitality partner for the Blues Festival and what we're doing here. If whoever's working the back... Test 1, 2, there we go. Could pull up the map with everything there. That would be helpful for me to kind of describe what's going on. So I just want to preface this by talking about what we all been through during the hurricane and what that looked like. And for me, I started with the company that I'm at and ultimately working here in Black Mountain just about a month before the hurricane got started. And what a blessing and a curse that turned out to be. A blessing because I got thrown into a tight-knit community that showed me so much love and so much grace. It was just unbelievable. And so when the opportunity presents itself to be able to put some weight into doing this the right way from a hospitality standpoint, it was a no-brainer for myself. I don't know if anyone remembers back then when we were serving food out of the rail yard and things like that. People like Mike at Trailhead and Richard at Pure Proper, like everyone just kind of threw in hands just to really get through it and take care of one another. And those bonds, they don't just fall away, which I think is just super important. That brings us to today, right? When we're looking at the festival and what's going on, I think the principles that we learned during that time, we could handle these things separately, or we can unite together to do this the right way. Now, a couple things that we learned from the previous festival was how we organize and how things are. The reality of the situation is, if you do business different than you normally do it, it's probably going to be hard, it's probably going to be painful, and it's probably not going to work out well. So what we have in the lineup this year is I mean, you look at what they've done and put together, it's just great, and how spread out everything is and everything along those lines. But in my mind, just to preface it a little bit, my history is I spent 12 years at Walt Disney World. It looks like a big theme park to me. I mean, for real. I mean, you got entertainment all across town. And establishments like Trailhead, Foothills, Pure and Proper, all these are great eating stations for all of that. So when we look at what's happening, we have the VIP program. They're selling a bunch of up to 200 VIP tickets. Every one of those VIP guests are going to have the ability to spend a $50 stipend at one of these restaurants, any of the participating restaurants. What that looks like is you get to choose a select special menu. that the guests get to come in, pick from, and it's planned and organized. They come in and make a reservation ahead of time to be able to set their times, plan ahead with the show times, and get the food that they want without having to rush, race, or not know what they're doing. For those of us that don't have that scenario, I'm happy to partner with any one of the other restaurants to talk about the different principles and things that we can do to help speed things up during a kind of festival type environment. But ultimately, we want to get the specials that you have, the information about your operating hours, and everything about you so that that can all land on a festival map so that the guests that are floating through our town know exactly where to go to get food, right? I think overall the program is about organization and kind of setting up together. I'm available for questions as we kind of go through, but there's just a 3-tier approach, right? The first tier is specialty seating dining with the $50 tickets on that. The second tier would be sort of your quick service or things like Trailhead on that. And then the third tier would be the pop-up sort of food truck type things to be able to capture the most of this and to be able to provide a nice experience. The more information in our hospitality partners' hands, the easier they will be able to control. So I appreciate you all, and then, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, big thanks to Chris for deciding to throw down with us, because when he talks about things like lanyards and stipends for tickets and Disney, I'm like my eyes start to cross a little bit, but he's got it covered. So any restaurateurs, talk to Chris and be involved, because we think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to plan their weekend ahead of time. This is typically the Blues Festival demo is typically like a 40 to 60 demo. And so these are people that are coming into town with money in their pockets, and they don't like to be rushed around, and they like to be able to say to themselves, I know exactly where I'm going to eat and what I'm going to eat tonight, and I'm not going to have to worry about waiting in line because I went through Chris's program and figured it out in advance. And that's it. I'm done.